Hey guys, welcome back to another impressions video, and as you can see here, I'm with the entire gang to do a dual impressions video on both Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS and for the Wii U. Two very high profile releases during this year, and it's no surprise. The Smash Bros. Franchise has been a very successful one ever since the first game came out for the Nintendo 64, and over the years, it has developed this following that has grown over the years, obviously, and this became a multi-million seller intellectual property for Nintendo. So, personally, I'm a pretty big fan of the series, and I was very much anticipating the release of both versions here. And as you can see, I was lucky enough to land this the GameCube bundle, which is became sort of a collector's edition, if you will, because this edition has been sold out in pretty much any retailer as of now, and so I'm very happy to have secured a copy of this. And as you can see here, I have the GameCube controller that came with the bundle. It's exactly what it is, a GameCube controller with the Smash Brothers logo in there. Plays and feels exactly like a GameCube controller, and pretty happy to have this added to my collection. So let's talk about it. Oh, and on top of that, I also picked up 7 of the 12 Amiibos that have been released alongside Smash Brothers. As you can see here, I have Link, Fox McCloud, Samus Aran, Wii Fit Trainer, Villager, Marth, and Kirby. I think I'm gonna go for all of them, but obviously I can't. I think I'm gonna wait for a sale maybe. I have secured the quote-unquote rare ones. Marth is sold out everywhere, and then there are rumors that Wii Fit Trainer and Villager are gonna be very limited. So I'm happy to have these 3 guys right here, and I think I'm gonna wait a little bit, see if the other ones go on sale. But I think I'm gonna give also my brief thoughts in this video regarding the Amiibos. But let's start with the meat and potatoes here, which is both Smash Brothers games, and I got both of them on release date, and the Wii U version just released a few days ago, and I already put over 10 hours. I have unlocked most of the characters. I think I only have 1 character left to unlock, and I unlocked most of the stages. I think I only have 2 left. So I think I'm pretty, qualified to do my impressions video. After playing in both online, single player, and exploring a little bit of all the different game modes. So let's start with the no story here. This is a traditional, well, not traditional, but a party fighting game, if you will. It's a little bit of an odd and very, peculiar fighting game. This is not your traditional fighting game, obviously, like Street Fighter or King of Fighters and all Mortal Kombat and all those series, but Smash Brothers is very unique. It's the ultimate celebration of all the Nintendo mascots and series that have been released along the years. So to me, that's obviously a huge appeal, and obviously the Smash Brothers are just packed to the brim with fan service. So if you're a fan of the Nintendo series, I'm sure you don't need introduction for this. You exactly know what to expect. And the good news is that Smash Brothers has not changed considerably over the last few releases. It's always the same type of gameplay where you try to inflict as much damage as you can to your enemy, and then you have to try and knock him out of the stage to score a stock point. So again, a little bit of a unique fighting system, if you will. But there are some changes in the gameplay, obviously. Smash Brothers, both for the 3DS and the Wii U version, they fall in between Smash Brothers Melee for the GameCube and Brawl for the Nintendo Wii in terms of speed. A lot of people complain, especially those in the competitive scene, that Brawl, which was the Wii version, was too much, very slow compared to Smash Brothers Melee, which is regarded by many as the best in the series still, and I can sort of agree with that statement because that game is absolutely fantastic, and I spent hundreds of hours playing that game. But both the 3DS and the Wii U version fall in between. The gameplay and the combat and the fighting system is it's more fast-paced. than Brawl, which is great news. Personally, I was not a big fan of Brawl for the Wii, but they made some improvements, no tripping, and the movement is more fluid and more it's faster. So I think this will appeal back to the competitive scene that sort of stuck with Melee for the most part over the years. Now, in terms of graphics, I have to say that both the 3DS and the Wii U version are pretty good looking for their respective hardware systems. The 3DS version obviously uses every ounce of power that the 3DS has to offer, to the point where I'm sure you guys noticed if you own the 3DS version, but basically the 3DS resets and reboots, turning off the operating system, because this version right here needs to use every ounce of power that the 3DS CPU has. And obviously when you close and exit out of the game, the 3DS reboots and loads the operating system again. So a very demanding version in terms of power, but it's understandable because the game runs great with all the detail, with all the fighters on screen. I think the 3DS version is pretty remarkable in terms of the performance and graphic wise. Obviously, the Wii version looks much better, but the 3DS version is no slouch. It looks great. Even though it's on a tiny screen, I think owning a 3DS XL helps quite a bit. And the fact that the characters in the 3DS version have an outline that makes the characters look a little bit like cel shaded. They have like this black outline, but it greatly helps in identifying your characters on the small 3DS screen. Wii U version graphically, of course, impeccable. This game runs at 60 frames per second, solid, steady, and it also has a definition of 1080p. So native 1080p, 60 frames per second. This is a joy to look at. Granted, the character models and the stages are not the most detailed things out there graphic-wise, and you can tell this when you pause the game. You can see that the level of detail is not perhaps optimal, but it's understandable. You know, the game runs at 60 frames per second, so everything is very smooth, and obviously a big upgrade over the previous console version, which was Smash Brothers Brawl for the Nintendo Wii. So graphic-wise, both games are great looking and for their respective hardware. Sound-wise, I don't have to say anything. If you have been playing the Smash Brothers games for ever since the Nintendo 64 version, these games shine because of their soundtrack, and it's really a homage to all the great music and songs that Nintendo has delivered over the years, from Koji Kondo and all the other great composers of these series. The soundtrack in both games it's just completely flawless, and the good thing is that both versions have a soundtrack studio where you can go and listen to your favorite songs. The Wii U version has a customizable soundtrack section where you can pick your favorites and put the frequency in which you want them to play. For example, if you like the Xenoblade music, you can, every time you play the Xenoblade stage, you can set different bars to have a different Xenoblade song play on that stage. So if you don't like a certain song, you can slide the slider all the way down, and if you like certain Xenoblade songs, you can put it to be more frequent. So a ton of customizable options for not only the game but the soundtrack itself. Now, I already talked about the gameplay, the graphics, and the soundtrack. Let's talk a little bit about the online play. Unfortunately, the 3DS version suffers a little bit. The netcode is not optimal, especially when you play 4 players online. The Wii U version has a much improved netcode, but still, the way this game works is dependent upon the connection that the players playing in the room or lobby have. So if a player in your room or lobby has a very poor connection, you will feel the effects. And I think it's a fair system, because if the slowest player is lagging, everybody else lags, which is a little bit bothersome, but in a way it's fair for the player with a poor connection. But again, the Wii U version has a better netcode, and I have been playing 4-player matches where they were online, lag-free rather, but expect to see still some issues and problems. It's not perfect, and I really don't know if they will ever be able to fix that issue. But if you come from Brawl from the Wii, trust me, you're gonna see a vast improvement with either version of the game. So whether you play the 3DS version or the Wii U version, you can't go wrong. The online is much improved, and again, the Wii U version obviously takes a cake with improved netcode, probably due to the better CPU and hardware overall. Now, control-wise, I have to say that's one of the negative points for the 3DS version. Obviously, you're stuck with the 3DS controls, and it's not the most comfortable control layout, if you will. Obviously, the Wii U version offers you a ton of customizable options. You can play it obviously with the GameCube controller if you have the GameCube adapter, which also came bundled in this limited or collector's edition, if you will. You can play with your Wii mode, nunchuck, Pro controller, classic Pro controller. Basically, you name gamepad, you name the controller method, and the Wii U version will have you covered. Now, as far as obviously if you have the GameCube controller, I think from a competitive standpoint, it offers a little bit of an advantage because it's plugged directly into the system. The GameCube adapter plugs directly into the Wii U system via the USB ports. So you have a constant wired connection. So when it comes to the competitive level, I think people are going to enjoy that a little bit more. And obviously, it comes with the added advantage also that it's a familiar layout for me personally. Like I said, I put hundreds of hours into the GameCube version of the game, and when I bought Brawl for the Wii, I also used my GameCube controller because the Wii supported GameCube controllers. So I am perfectly familiar with the controls in this version as well because I'm using the GameCube controller. So now the differences between these two guys right here are basically in the obviously graphics wise I already explained. This is obviously better, but as far as the content, there are some pros and cons for both versions. The 3DS version has this new game mode that of course now that I'm recording the video it's completely escaped my mind, but it has a somewhat of a single player campaign mode that it's more similar to the adventure mode that was available in the GameCube version. You are in this stage where you fight different types of enemies, and at the end you get into a fight, and in the process of this adventure mode, if you will, you collect trophies and new power-ups and things like that. The Wii U version does not have that game mode, and it was a big disappointment for a lot of people because it's really fun. However, the Wii U version has a different like Mario Party type of board game, which I have to say it's pretty confusing. I only played it once and it was pretty boring. You roll a dice and you get a number and you collect different fighters, and at the end, however many fighters you collected, they all go at each other, and you get to collect trophies and unlockables and things like that, but nowhere near as fun as the missionary mode on the GameCube version or the adventure mode. In my opinion, the 3DS version has a little bit more of a fun content as far as single player mode. The Wii U version, however, has other advantages such as 8-player mode, which is local only, unfortunately, and understandable because online having 8 players. If this game lags, sometimes when it has 4 players, I don't even want to know what's going to happen with 8 people on the screen. And with 8 people, 2 or 3 people having poor internet connections, it'll be a mess. But locally, it works great. It's confusing. Sometimes it's pretty hard to keep track of your character on the screen, but it's chaotic and it's really fun. Having 8 players on the screen at the same time. And that's one of the advantages of the Wii U version. As far as the content, there are levels that are specific to the 3DS version, such as they have a Kirby Adventure, Game Boy like themed level. There's also a Zelda Spirit Tracks themed level, and Nintendogs themed level. So a lot of the handheld franchises of Nintendo are represented in this game. There's also a 3D Mario 3D Land level and things like that. The Wii U version doesn't fall short. Obviously, it has some exclusive levels as well, such as the Game & Wario level. There's an exclusive Game & Watch level as well, and a few others that, you know, they're escaping my mind right now. But if you want the full, you know, if you want the full scope of levels and characters, you really have to own both versions, which in my opinion is not a problem because they're both excellent games. They both work excellent, and you know, the 3DS has the advantage of being a portable Smash Brothers machine or game, if you will, and then the Wii U version has the advantage of being the full-fledged, you know, really nice graphics and more content type of version. Obviously, if you guys are familiar with the games, there's tons and tons and tons of unlockables, from trophies to power-ups to your characters, to levels, to characters. You will be playing both games for quite a while if you want to unlock everything. And obviously there's an achievement / trophy system that it's nothing new to the series, where sometimes whenever you meet certain requirements, you get a challenge, a block, and you get to complete this picture. And obviously, if you're a completionist, you will be playing either version of the game for a very, very long time. Character-wise, there's a bunch of new characters such as Pac-Man. There's a Mega Man, obviously, is a new inclusion to the game. Shulk from Xenoblade, Little Mac from Punch-Out. So again, another celebration of Nintendo and non-Nintendo characters as well, because you have Pac-Man, you have Sonic, you have Mega Man. But those three characters, they fit pretty well within the Smash Brothers universe, even though they're not Nintendo, you know, mascots. So in my opinion, they fit pretty well. So overall, great games. I cannot recommend this enough. The beauty of Smash Brothers is that it's a very accessible type of game. If you have never played a Smash Brothers game, it's pretty easy to pick up and learn. There are no complicated moves. The special moves in this game are limited to up and B, down and B, left and B, things like that. Move sets that just about anybody can learn. However, for the experienced players, there's a layer of complexity that it's also very seducing. If you're a competitive player, there's a layer of complexity and a layer of skill that really, if you want to go to the next level and play against, you know, people that know what they're doing, Smash Brothers becomes a very competitive and very technical fighting game, even though it doesn't seem like it. So again, that's the beauty of this game. It's very easy to pick up and learn, but if you want to become a master at it, there's a lot to be learned. Now, Amiibos. I'm going to briefly talk about Amiibos. This video is running a little bit long, but again, this is a major release, so I really wanted to give my thoughts out there. Amiibos, I have to admit, guys, from being completely honest, the reason why I bought this, guys, is first and foremost because of the collectible aspect. I'm a big Nintendo fan, and you know, I grew up playing the franchises that you see here, such as, you know, the Zelda games, the Star Fox games, Metroid, Animal Crossing, and so on. So for me, first and foremost, the main draw and attraction of the Amiibos are just the collectible, owning them, you know, being able to look around and you know, see the detail and whatnot, and then to me, the fact that they can be used in different games, that to me is an added bonus. As of now, in my opinion, the use of these guys right here in Smash Brothers, it's a little bit, I don't want to use the word pointless, but I'm not very attracted or very excited. Basically, you use the Amiibos you scan the Amiibos and you watch them play. So you can play against your Amiibos and they learn from you. So for example, if you like using items a lot, they're gonna learn from you, and when they fight, they're gonna use a lot of items. So, or if you don't use a lot of special moves, they will learn from you and not use a lot of special moves, things like that. And as they fight against you, they level up, and then what you can do is have them fight against each other, and while they do that, they collect collectibles for you, so trophies, coins, and things like that. They will get that from you, and you can retrieve that to add to your collection later on. So personally, what I'm doing, since I have 7 amiibos right now, I always go to the 8-player mode in the Wii U version, obviously, and I play against all 7 of them, so they all level up together. And again, you know, I'm getting trophies, I'm getting coins and other perks like that from these guys, but in my opinion, it's not a significant you know, feature that you must experience. And then of course, the cool thing about Amiibos is that they work with different games. So if you have Mario Kart 8, for example, they unlock new costumes. For example, if you just hover your Kirby figure, you'll unlock a Kirby costume to be used in Mario Kart and things like that. Nice perks, very good idea on behalf of Nintendo to be of being able to use these guys in different games. Other games that will support Amiibos include Hyrule Warriors, Captain Toad, the upcoming Yoshi game, the upcoming Kirby game, and things like that. So a very good idea, a very good they're preventing the limitation of this to being, you know, stuck to one game, Smash Brothers. You can use them in different games, so that's a plus. One thing that, if I have to say a negative regarding both versions, is that the new system where you can customize your movesets, I'm not a big fan of that. Essentially, you can create Amiibos and you can create your own movesets, or not Amiibos, but you can use your Mii to create the Mii fighters, and that's fine, you know. That's a good addition. It's a new character for both versions of the game, but you can also change the movesets of the regular characters. For example, you know, Fox McCloud. You can go and edit his moveset with perks that you collect throughout the game as collectibles, and you can make him. You can give him perks that will make him even faster, but less powerful. So it's almost like a rock paper scissors system, where if you give him a perk that gives him more speed, he will lose power or strength in his attacks. So it's a system that supposedly it's balanced, but there will always be some kind of I guess exploit. I don't know if exploit is the right word, but you know, people online are gonna try and find their optimal configuration, and there's always going to be some kind of advantage that that it will require you to explore with the characters. And to be completely honest, I just don't have the time to sit down and explore. You know, if I give this certain item to Samus, if she's gonna get better at what, and things like that. So I kind of wish Nintendo just left out that option, that customizable option, and let us use the, you know, all the regular characters as they are. Without any types of improvements, because when you do that, it opens up the game a whole lot more. That's true, but at the same time, you have to explore. You have to spend a lot of time trying the different movesets and setups and things like that. On the 3DS version, I played with it for a little bit. On the Wii U version, I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just gonna play with the characters as they come, and yeah, just not bother with it. It's a nice addition. It adds a lot of replay value, but I can't help but to think that, you know, people are gonna try and find their optimal setting, and there's always gonna be some kind of advantage in certain characters and things like that. So, and one last thing before I end this video, I forgot to mention that the Wii U version has the level creator mode, which allows you to create levels. Unfortunately, it has its limitations, and it's not as comprehensive as the Wii version of the game. But nevertheless, it's there. So if you guys are, you know, want to give your creativity a go in creating levels, you're more than welcome to do that in the Wii version of the game. Which also has a picture mode, which is pretty cool. I've seen some people, you know, use the picture mode on Miiverse, and they're posting really funny pictures and whatnot. That's also exclusive to the Wii U version, I believe. You can add like different effects, take a snapshot and add different effects, and then post it on Miiverse, or upload it to, you know, download the pictures and do whatever you want. But overall, Smash Brothers both for the Wii U and 3DS, in my opinion, a success. Granted, the overall formula doesn't change much. These two games are what they are. You know, they've been playing similarly ever since the Nintendo 64 version. The same concept. Yeah, true. There are some changes in the gameplay in terms of speed and the combat, but the surface remains the same. It's the same type of game with, you know, the same concept, the same crazy unlockables, crazy collectibles, and this is why the series has become popular. And in my opinion, Nintendo is doing good by not changing the formula a whole lot. A few changes here and there, but overall, Smash Brothers, a very, very solid game. You cannot go wrong with either version. If you have a 3DS, highly recommended that you pick up the 3DS version. If you have a Wii U, in my opinion, this version is a must-own, especially if you're a Nintendo fan. You know, this is the ultimate celebration of the Nintendo intellectual properties over the years. So that's it for now, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.